So we ended up going to a pizza place.
That's cheese right there, isn't it?
How many?
Hey, all of it.
Oh.
All of it.
A lot of restaurants in New York only hold, under 20 people. But for us, we had to pack that thing full.
Milk, coffee, yes. Which I already had cheese and crackers and fruit, so I'm good. I'm good to go. The rest of them are starving, so.
It's Wednesday, March 30th. It's Katie Joy. How are you? Okay, I know March was a horrible month. I'm so sorry. So many days without videos, and some of you are like, Katie, I need my uploads. And I'm like, I know. So today I'm gonna try to do 3. I'm already starting to film. It's only 12:30 here, which means I'm so far ahead of the game. It's redonkulous. Okay, so I love to do investigations and I like to dig in and learn the truth and find all of the details. My month of March has been really invested in a situation that's going on in California related to 7M. And if you haven't followed me along on that journey, it is in California. It's over on my Instagram. It's Without a Crystal Ball. You can go over and follow me there. Just be nice. When I'm not investigating that situation, I'm obviously still all things Duggar, Sister Wives, and all the other reality shows that we cover on this channel. And I have been following what's going on with the Josh trial and the Josh case for more than a couple years, like back in 2019, I was one of the first to report the HSI were at Josh's work. So here we are. It is almost April of 2022. We are not sentenced yet, but Anna Duggar is still making moves. Last week, I told you how Anna had sold some property and that the property sale kind of coincided with a motion that was filed by Josh's attorneys looking for an extension. And now they've been granted that extension. So they have 2 more months, basically just under 2 months before he is sentenced in the case. Still no filings by the judge regarding his motions. So we don't have any answers on that yet. But Anna has been doing a lot of work. And I want to just reference this right off the bat. A lot of you said, it's fair to say that Anna's not doing this. I'm sure she's just signing the documents. And you listen, I don't disagree. I'm sure Jim Bob is coordinating some of this. Obviously, I can't say that he is factually because his name is not on any of the documents. All of the documents are being signed by Anna. So from a legal standpoint, if something tricky is happening here, or if something not so on the, up and up is happening here, it's Anna's name that's on these documents. That was kind of my point in all of this, is that Jim Bob seems to, in my opinion, use the kids in various companies that he opens. For what reason? That I don't know. But Anna has formed a brand new company, which this actually is making me sort of scratch my head, because I'm like, why is Anna being used to do another company? Josh isn't even home. Josh isn't going to be home for a long time. Why are they forming a new company? This actually happened when I was doing just a check of companies. Every couple weeks, I will just check the database to see if there's any new formed companies by the Duggars. And I do this because the Duggars have over 45 companies, and that I've been able to locate throughout all of the different people in the family. And, it's like every other week there's a new one. Like, for instance, Jim Bob opened a LLC in Jackson's name, and Jackson's not even 18 years old. And then Jackson bought some property in that LLC's name. Weird. Okay. But Anna is being used by Josh, I'm only assuming because Josh doesn't maybe want to be on any of these company names in the event that something like this were to happen. Over the past several years, we have noticed an uptick in companies that have been opened by Anna, with Josh's name not on many of these companies. So it's curious because when I was doing a search, she's presently, or has been over the years, been listed on 8 separate companies. So the current ones that are still open are ALB Investments. That was the property that got sued, or that's the company that got sued related to that title issue, and Josh didn't show up to court. Yeah, that one. Then there's Glasgow Drive. Then there's Lexington Contractors. Now that company is the only one that Josh is currently listed on. She has one called Little M Consortium. There's Ravenglass North, Ravenglass South, and Soli Deo Gloria. So the companies of Ravenglass South and Cambridge Arbor are now no longer active. And those were tied to, I believe, properties. I noticed that as I was searching her name on another database today, she recently formed a company called Homefield Properties LLC based in Fayetteville. And she's listed as the organizer, the incorporator, and then Travis Story is listed as the agent. And the office, the head office is the home, the guest house in Arkansas that's next to the Duggar's house. So she's listed the address of this as the warehouse that she lives in that was converted to a guest house. So I did a run of if she's bought properties or if there's anything going on with this. Nothing. So I'm like, she opens this company 22 days ago. This means this is the 9th company that she has been attached to since I think 2015. Josh Duggar has removed himself off of many of these companies as he's gotten into legal trouble, and instead he's put Anna in the place of him on there. Now, I am all about standing by your man and, making sure that you stick with them when they're going through a tough spot. But once my husband would cross into the kind of conduct that Josh got involved in, I would have been filing for divorce and leaving. I would not be opening up new companies, selling property, and still living on the Duggars' property. So Anna is still living on the Duggars' property. I guess that was the one thing that I thought was the biggest revelation is, okay, Anna's address is presently at the compound in the warehouse. I get the sense that Anna is, if something comes down, and this is my concern here, is that if something comes down from the IRS, if the Duggars get investigated in any way because of like money laundering, or they're using they're opening LLCs to take losses on other businesses so that they don't have to pay taxes, or if they're doing tax evasion, if there's something that's going on here that's not legal, the issue for me is that Anna, who is a mother of 7, is now potentially going to be mixed up in this because her husband, who is now convicted and a felon, has placed her name on everything. It reminds me of how when Teresa and Joe Giudice were arrested by the IRS related to tax evasion and those loans that they took out, Joe admitted to putting Teresa on documents and having her sign documents without her knowledge of what they were, and really sort of like using her name and giving her a salary in order to take out fictitious loans, if I'm remembering correctly. Even though Teresa was really sort of out of the responsibility of it, and Joe did take full responsibility even with his plea agreement, and he said that it was all on him. It was him that was the problem. She still had to go to prison. So if you're in a marriage with your husband doing shady things and he's using your name to open businesses and to sell properties and to move money around, you probably are you're putting yourself in a really sticky situation. Josh's finances are going to be under a microscope by the federal government, and they are going to be looking at all the things that he's doing right now. If he has any assets that he's hiding or he's trying to move around so that they won't take that money from him, they're going to find it. And if they don't, they'll find him and he'll have to pay them regardless. They will find the exact amount of the money that he owes them, and he will have to pay. Because in the state of Arkansas, when you're married, you're considered joint owners of everything. Like, there's no being married and putting it in your wife's name to avoid you not be put on the hook, because you're technically like in a union, and what's mine is yours and what's yours is mine. So Anna has another company that's been opened. I looked on both the counties in the area to see if there were any new property sales or property listings for this new company called Homefield Properties. There were not any deeds or sales at all in this point, but I wouldn't be surprised if we find out that there will be in the future. Question is who is orchestrating these deals? It's only my speculation here, but Anna has 7 kids and a newborn. Well, not a newborn, but 6-month-old, a baby at home. Do you really think that she has the time to open new businesses, sell properties, transfer funds, do all these things? Or do you think someone else like Jim Bob is handing her a paper and she's signing it and she doesn't necessarily know what she's signing? Because do you remember how Jill and Derek said that they signed something at their wedding and they didn't even realize what they signed, and that's what got them in trouble, and they weren't paid for their time on the show, and it put them in a contract with the network that they weren't aware that they were in with? How many of the kids have signed things at Jim's direction or at Josh's direction, not knowing what they're signing? What happens when that house of cards falls down? Say they actually start looking into Jim Bob's LLCs. Say that they start auditing him. Say they look at his records. Say they look at his taxes. Who is going to be held responsible here? Is it going to be Jim Bob solely, or do all the other family members who he's used become responsible? And again, Jim Bob has not been charged with anything. He doesn't have any tax liens on him. There's no belief that there's any sort of investigation happening right now. But I have a hard time believing that that won't happen or couldn't happen given what has happened to Josh. Does that make sense? I'm just very confused about Anna, and I'm worried for Anna. I'm worried for her. I'm worried that this could end her. These things that are happening right now could result in her facing charges at some point. And that concerns me because she's a mom of 7. Does anyone else get kind of weirded out by that or get concerned about that? Does anyone really think that Anna's the one that's orchestrating this? Tell me what your thoughts are in the comments below. Bye, guys.